again, welcome to another edition of the Daily Deuce. I'm Gary Graves from just outside Louisville, Kentucky, home of the Kentucky Derby that will occur this Saturday. I don't know if we'll talk about it because there's so much basketball to talk about. And I'm going to throw some of this to John Webster, my good friend and esteemed colleague. John, how you doing today?
Hey Gary, I'm doing okay, man. Everything's going well. Another big week in sports. I'm ready to get into it. But first, we gotta say hey to John Pitt. John, what's going on, man?
Hey guys, May the 4th be with you. So I'm sorry. I've been waiting to say that all day. I'm sorry about
Oh boy. Hey, you just revealed something, man. I never knew about
that.
you. I never knew you were a Star Wars dude.
Little bit.
Yeah, yeah. You know what's funny about Star Wars is that I didn't. It took me a long time to see the first movie. I got hooked on Star Wars with The Empire Strikes Back and Return. Was it? Yeah, Return of the Jedi. That was number three, right?
Right.
Yeah. Um, and then just kind of keeping up with it through some of the other movies. But man, for my money, shoot, I think Star Wars started with The Empire Strikes Back. That and The Godfather Part Two might be the two best sequels ever made.
Agreed.
Yeah, yeah. Man, there's so much basketball. I don't even know where to start. It's like as we speak, I'm like looking at warm-ups for the Lakers and Golden State, which um uh, let us get to some housekeeping in terms of I think we were both wrong in that first round series with both teams. Am I right? Because I know I didn't pick the Lakers to beat Memphis. I think I was like all on Memphis's bandwagon, and they let me down. As I'm not surprised. But Golden State. I'm sorry, the Lakers are the team that I feel, excuse me, I feel like is a team of destiny right now, and I'm going to try to really enjoy and appreciate this series, John, because you can talk about Steph and LeBron, and it's not just about that, but this might be one of the last times we see them in a situation like this in their careers, with both of them being in their 30s, and both of them, even though both of them still have a lot in the tank.
Yeah, the only thing I think is sad. I wish this matchup had happened later on in the Western Conference, maybe for the Western Conference Finals. Other than that, I'm really enjoying it so far. A lot of fun to watch the Lakers match up against Golden State, watch Darvin Ham match X's and O's against Steve Kerr, watch LeBron and Anthony Davis match up with Clay and Draymond and Steph Curry. I'm really enjoying it. I really am. I'm looking forward to game two tonight.
Yeah. The thing about the Lakers, and I never thought I would say this either, is that I can appreciate what they're doing now, and I can appreciate some of the moves that I believe that LeBron influenced in putting this team together. And it's really, really coming together. It's like there are two teams of destiny right now that I see. One is the Miami Heat. Of course, it depends on Jimmy Butler's health, and we get to that in a minute. But the Lakers look like a team. They look like the playoff team that everybody was saying, well, just wait, and they're actually following. Like LeBron doesn't have to be the star. I've seen comparisons with Jabbar, taking that secondary role when Magic arrived, and yeah, I guess so. But again, it's like it's taken him a lot of years to really try to get the kind of team where they can really step up and take some of the burden off him. And of course, what's the big factor, John? Anthony Davis is staying healthy.
Well, tonight you'll see an adjustment. The first game, Anthony Davis with 32 points, 23 rebounds. You know, truth be told, that's a rough matchup for Golden State. matching up with Anthony Davis is more difficult than right now matching up with LeBron James, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
I think what Golden State is going to do tonight is try to pull Anthony Davis away from the basket, get him caught up in more pick and rolls. And that way, when you get him further away from the basket, that opens up the lane for Golden State to go in there and get their shots. Anthony Davis is a tremendous defender, a tremendous rim protector, and blocks many shots. You got to get him away from the basket. I think another thing Golden State is going to try to do tonight, I think they're going to try to kick it into another gear as far as running. I think they look at the Lakers. The Lakers got what they wanted. They got one win. They took home court. Going back to the LA, I want to call it the Forum. I'm so sorry about that. It's not the Forum anymore. But they're going back to play at the Lakers home. They wanted one. The next two are there. But this is really an important game tonight for Golden State. I think Golden State wins. I think they make adjustments. I think through this whole series, you're going to see adjustments. This is going to go 7, without a doubt. I don't know who's going to win it, Gary. I'll be honest with you. It's going to go 7 though, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But I think Golden State gets in the night in game 2. The adjustments they make and the tempo they're going to set is going to cause them problems. And even the other night, the last shot of the game, Golden State was still right there with them. They did change the pace in the fourth quarter to get back in it, to get that last chance, that time to go to overtime. I think they get them tonight, and it's definitely going 7.
Yeah. I listened to a spirited debate about Jordan Poole getting the ball in that situation, and I don't necessarily have a problem with him getting the ball in that situation because you knew they were going to double step, but my question was where he took the shot. It's like, would it have hurt him to step up maybe about another 3 or 4 feet instead of trying to launch it from downtown? Yeah, and I mean, when I mean downtown, I'm talking about downtown San Francisco.
It was a long shot, but keep in mind that's not the first time Jordan Poole shot a shot from there. And also in regards to taking the dribble, when he caught it, I think in Jordan Poole's mind, he was in rhythm. Sometimes when you take that dribble and don't take the shot as soon as you get it, it throws your rhythm off. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what he saw. I mean, yeah, hindsight's 20/20. Could he have made another pass to work it back around? I mean, yeah, you could have, but when you work it back around, Steph's going to be double teamed, so you work it back around. Draymond's going to be right where he is. So, you took the shot, it didn't go. You come back and you play today, and you win to try to make it 1-1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My thing about situations like that, I mean, yeah, I can question where he took the shot. I don't question the ball being in his hands because, I mean, he's proven he can hit that kind of shot. He's proven it in the clutch during the regular season. I mean, we all know about that game earlier this year where Steph was about to cut his head off, and then comes back and and wins it for him, and Steph is just like, yeah, it's all good, man. I mean, it's just the nature of the game, especially when you're a shooter. I mean, you're looking at maybe a 50-50 proposition at best. A lot of it depends on where you take the shot. I just question where he took the shot from, not the fact that the ball was in his hands.
Yeah, and also keep in mind, he had a pretty good game Sunday night. He scored 21 points coming off the bench. So, like I said, in a perfect world, do I want Steph Curry taking that shot? Absolutely. In a perfect world, do I want Klay Thompson taking that shot? Absolutely. But Jordan Poole taking it, I don't have a problem with. In a perfect world, they wouldn't have been behind and they would have been ahead and wouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. And see, this is the thing where I think benefits the Lakers, not just the fact that they got home court advantage, but because they have won the season series against the Warriors, and the Warriors, as we've discussed in other shows, just aren't a very good road team in any phase. It's not just the losing, it's how they lose. And I just feel like, you've got a Lakers team that's got confidence. It's like, okay, now they're playing with house money and they go back home. Does that necessarily give them a huge edge? No, because again, we're talking about the Golden State Warriors. And I think they're capable of winning a game on the road. They just have to show it. They have to prove it against the team kind of on the same level as them right now. It's one thing to maybe, beat a team like, like Memphis or I'm trying to think of who else was in the first, lost in the first round. But yeah, but I mean, it's one thing to beat a team below you on the road. It's another thing to go into the arena with Jack Nicholson back on the sidelines and the Lakers, guys like Jared Vanderbilt are finding their game. Anthony Davis, finding their game. I do believe you. I mean, I agree with you that they will make adjustments, but they've got to make a bigger adjustment when they go to LA.
Yeah, but what they did, they surprised me. I didn't think they would win a road game, and I said I didn't think they would get past Sacramento. And I also said I'd be glad if I was wrong. So I'm very happy I was wrong. I'm glad they got past them. And I think maybe they are playing better now on the road. And I think they may surprise some people and get a win. Let me also add one other thing with what I think may happen tonight. You may see more zone defense from Golden State tonight. Reason being, you really, after you get past Kevon Looney, who do you have coming off the bench that you can put on Anthony Davis? No one. So if you play another thing is the Lakers do not shoot well outside. Pack in a 2-1-2 zone or a 2-3 zone until they start hitting shots. I'm staying in the zone and I'm making sure I'm putting a body on Anthony Davis at every turn to get the rebound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in that situation, I mean, physically, I don't think Draymond is capable of staying with them for 48 minutes. But mentally, I think if he can poke the ball away, if he can cut off a passing lane, if he can just really do something and really talk trash, if he can get inside Anthony Davis's head, I think that's where a matchup like that can really make a difference. Because with Draymond, we know his physical skills, but it's like those intangibles, the way that he can alter what a guy does, either by saying something to him or making that one play that guy didn't expect. Again, the way he's able to kind of, get his hand in there, poke a ball away, or steal a rebound from somebody who's bigger than him, maybe more physical than him, might even have a better position. But he's just that guy that just gets it done any way, shape, or form. He's got the talent, but he's also got the smarts up here to know where to be and to get inside somebody's head.
Absolutely. I've said it many times. Very good ball player and understands the game extremely well.
Yeah. Also in the West, we're looking at a situation where I guess with Denver and Phoenix, again, this is one where we were both wrong in terms of Denver. Neither one of us had faith in Denver. We didn't trust Denver to get out of the first round. Well, they did, and now they're up 2-0 on Phoenix. Do we now start taking them seriously as a Western Conference contender, or do we wait till they're on the cusp of qualifying for the conference final to really give them their due?
They're a very good team. Murray is a very good guard. Jokic, hands down, every night comes and does it. Fills up a stat sheet. He's a great ball player. I mean, you got Jeff Green coming off the bench. I think you got Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter there. They're a very good team. But they're up 2-0, but they did what they're supposed to do. They defended their home. Now they have to go to Phoenix and win a game on Phoenix's court. I think Phoenix is in a rough situation. Chris Paul has an injury. He's going to be out for this game and maybe the fourth game and may not be back to the fifth. that may be too late because the series may be over. They got to get it done tonight. Booker is been doing it the whole series. Kevin Durant's been doing a great job. The thing that I struggle with is I think Cam Payne is a very good player coming off the bench. That's not someone I want to start. I think he does better in spurts as opposed to long stints. He's an absolutely wonderful guy coming off the bench. And another thing is when you start, I think he's going to have to start tonight. When you start him, you lose that extra oomph that you got coming off the bench. You don't have it now because he started.
You start him maybe for 3 or 4 minutes. I think you have to keep a rotation there. Yeah, he's definitely a guy that can come into a game that, that can watch a game, come in and play, after watching or after making the adjustments. He can help a team making adjustments. It's just like, who was it we were talking about last year with Golden State, who we thought was better? When Clay came back from injury and they were starting him and they were looking shaky. And we said last season he was better coming off the bench because of the spark that he provided, because he saw the tendencies, he saw his openings and such. That's where I agree with you, with Cam Payne. I would I want to see more out of Ayton. I think that's about the only thing I can really point to at this point. It's like Ayton he really has to step his game up to not just be a big body, who can dunk and maybe grab a rebound or two. He's got to really create more of his own shots. He's got to take it strong because that's where they need it right now.
Yeah, Ayton has been at some points very pedestrian. I mean, he's getting good looks. The thing that helps with having Durant on the court, you're going to double team Kevin Durant. So that means there are other people on the court who will go get single looks or just free looks altogether. So Ayton's going to get some very good looks. The thing that is tough for him, you got to go down on the other end of the court and you got to check Jokic. That's not like a picnic. That's not, a lunch special. That's a problem. So Phoenix has to win tonight, and we'll see what happens. They're in a rough situation. Let's see what happens tonight, and then we go from there.
Yeah. Let's move over to the Eastern Conference where, let's see, I guess I'll start with Philadelphia, Boston. Joel Embiid wins the MVP. I think he deserved it, but he's not playing. By the same token, Philadelphia won game one. They've got home court, and of course, because I've been on a derby schedule this week, getting up at 4 a.m. with the horses. I can't even remember whether did Boston win last night.
Boston won last night, and Embiid played.
So something, I take that back. I did listen to the end of that game before I went to sleep. Yeah, that that was a game when I turned it on. Yeah, when I was listening to it, it was a blowout, and I said, well, that's what I kind of expected from Boston after getting beat at home. That might be the most intriguing series because it's one I believe it's going to go 7 games because. I can't even pick anybody in that a team in that series because I think they're so evenly matched and there's so many things that can go either team's way that can swing a series that wouldn't surprise me. So that's one that I think I'm going to try to enjoy from a strategic, maybe a clutch standpoint, as opposed to the Lakers and Warriors, where I'm just appreciating 2 future Hall of Famers, in the twilight of their careers, but still showing they're able to get it done, especially Steph Curry. But Philadelphia, Boston, that one kind of takes me back to like the early 80s, with Dr. J and Larry Bird. It's not quite a rivalry, but it reminds me of how it could become a rivalry, especially if both of these teams stay intact, because Philly is a team that I think is on the cusp of being a team that can come out of the East especially this year with with the door wide open for them. At the same time, Boston is right there too. They can just follow up on what they did last season. If whoever comes out of that series, I do believe will win the East, and that's no disrespect to the Knicks or the Miami Heat, the other intriguing series, though less intriguing because right now to me it looks like a Kentucky intra-squad game between Bam Adebayo and Julius Randle, and I mean just all those Wildcats on both rosters. But yeah, Philadelphia, I think the fact that they could win without Embiid was probably a bigger indication of their potential. And speaking of someone still having something left in the tank, you can't say anything bad about James Harden right now. I can't find anything bad to say about James Harden, not just because he busted, was it 45? It was just the way he played. Just he somehow made everybody better.
Well, first I'll say Philadelphia and Boston's going to go 7 games. Boston takes the series. I think Boston has a little bit too much for Philadelphia. James Harden can still make it do what it do. He's still one of the best. I think Philadelphia got what they wanted, which they wanted a split. They got the first game there. I think a big reason for Embiid playing last night was also to get him some time on the court, to get his timing back, get his conditioning back. Haven't been there for a while. Mm-hmm. They go back to Philly. I think, it's a hard fought series, Boston in 7. Boston in 7.
Yeah. That might be a series in terms of Philly. I would want to give Philly a little bit of credit only because I think they won without him, but they were worried about whether they would have him. And if nothing else, even in a loss, just having him out on the court for whatever amount of time was kind of a mental lift that they might not get him for, say, they might not get him for 25 minutes. They might not even get him for 20 minutes. But if they can get any time out of him, that makes them feel just a little bit more whole, and they have to take advantage of it going back home with home court advantage.
You're referring to having Embiid back on the court?
Yeah, Joel Embiid. Yeah.
Well, I think another thing with Embiid that he's going to have to deal with is having that knee brace. That knee brace can be cumbersome. You're not used to having that on your leg. And also, people need to keep in mind a knee sprain is not like an ankle sprain. A knee sprain can go on. Ankle sprains are rough. They can be lingering, but a knee sprain can linger, and it also has a definite effect upon your mobility and what you can do and what you can't do. So, again, Embiid playing last night was more to get his conditioning going, get him used to playing with that brace on his leg. We're going back to Philly. We're going to get him his MVP award, which he justly deserves. Congratulations to him. But in the end of the day, Boston beats Philly.
Okay. New York, Miami. Who you like in that one?
It's only one person I like, man. I'm always going to go with Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Butler is tough. And I'm going to tell you something, man. I'm going to tell you. Eric Spoelstra, you don't want to go X in the nose with him. I mean, that guy, he knows basketball. He's proven it over and over again. He can make the right moves. I mean, think about this, Gary. Tyler Hero is out. Bam Adebayo is playing. You got Butler, and they still figure out a way to win. And Butler goes, 45 or whatever he did the first game. They're tough. I mean, and think about this again. Hero doesn't play in the second game. Butler doesn't play in the second game. And they're still down by 3 with 10 seconds left. Still with a chance to win.
Yeah.
I think Miami gets them. I'm really happy for the New York Knicks. It's great to have them in the middle of this because we talked before. New York Knicks are a team where if they're relevant, it's better for the NBA. I think it's really good that they are relevant. But Tom Thibodeau is a very good coach, but he also grinds his players. And what I mean by that, they play a lot of minutes, they play very hard, and sometimes they can run out of gas, not because they're out of shape, but because of the demands that he puts on them. I take nothing away from Tibbs. Thibodeau's a great coach, does a great job. I just think they're not going to have enough, and they are, maybe because of the grind, will run out of gas. Matter of fact, Miami in 6.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. And to your point about Spoelstra won, but when I heard this the other day, and I said, gosh, I can't believe it's been that long. I mean, we're talking about 15, 16 years longevity that I don't think anybody thought he would have had, particularly after LeBron went back to Cleveland.
Hey, we saw it today and we'll continue to see it. Coaching longevity, coaching stint, sometimes is short-lived, and sometimes is based upon what have you done for me lately.
Let's see, who does that apply to in the NBA right now? Budenholzer, man, him getting fired today. Did that catch you off guard like it did for me? And the thing is, that little nugget, that bombshell dropped rather at the same time. A trainer here was suspended from Churchill Downs, and his horse is been scratched from the Derby. And it's like I'm trying to get my mind around what I'm about to write or what I'm about to report on. And then that comes, and I'm like, wow. I just can't believe, like one and done gets him out of there. One round and done gets him out of there. That's a head scratcher to me.
For me, I can't see me letting go of Budenholzer. This year, he won 68 games, had the best record in the NBA. And yeah, it was horrible that they lost in the first round to Miami. Horrible. But in my opinion, is that enough to be fired? Not for a guy that won 68 games for you. 2 years ago, he won the NBA championship. First championship for the Milwaukee Bucks organization in 50 years. And then last year, they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals. No slouch. He lost to the Boston Celtics. I think it was the Eastern Conference Finals. But I tell you what, as one door closes on Budenholzer, trust and believe another one's going to open because somebody is going to get him.
Yeah. It's like their loss is some team's game, and again that's a head scratcher. I mean, in a way, it kind of begs a question: is there more to it than say just a first round loss? But I'm of the opinion, like, even if there was, you got a roll going, and you just busted it by getting rid of the architect. It's just like, I guess it's different from, say, Toronto with Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse, I thought, was another kind of head scratcher move, but you could see a team kind of declining since they won the NBA championship. The exodus of talent, the and some guys are just getting good. I mean, of course, you don't have Kawhi, you don't have Lowry. I'm trying to think of who else they lost. I think
DeMar Rosen.
Oh yeah, DeRozan, yeah. But he's still a good coach, and that's one I'm trying to figure. It's like, yeah, they just have. It's more of a talent thing. I don't think it's a coaching thing. Milwaukee, I can't even explain that one right now. I'm gonna have to read some stories and and kind of hear some commentary to get a better perspective of that.
If you make that move, which they did today, you have to have something up your sleeve as far as what you're going to bring in next. You have to.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I have no clue. But they have to have an idea. In order to let Budenholzer go, who is a quality coach who has done a great job, you have to have something up your sleeve.
Well, that's one of those. It's like Frank Costello ain't walking through that door. I hope they find that guy, but again, in the same way, I think they think that they can find a guy like Budenholzer to replace Budenholzer, but we don't know that. And again, that just seemed more of a almost like a knee-jerk reaction than anything else, than any kind of informed decision. But hey, what do we know? We just sit here and talk sports, and we have had a whole lot to talk about. It seems like, gosh, I can't believe how quickly the time goes. John, I'm not going to embarrass you by asking you who you think is going to win the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. I'll give you my pick. I'm gonna go with Forte, because I do think clearly he is the best horse. I've seen him enough this spring to believe that even against that field, he's got a pretty good position draw.
Didn't he get
And
the
I think
15th lane?
what's that?
Didn't he get the 15th spot, the 15th lane? Did he
Yeah,
get that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's not far outside, it's not too far inside. I think he's got the speed where he can be there in the mix. He doesn't have to necessarily be in front. He's a better closer. The horse, though, he's got to watch. The one that really scares me, and I'm probably going to put some money on him in another bet, is his stablemate Tapit Trice. I saw him win the Bluegrass here, coming from behind and really running probably the race of his life. And it was just one of those things. He just paced himself and is just a better closer. And I think that's the thing in a race like that. Again, if you're in that second pack, you've got a chance. If you're out in that front pack, you better stay there. That's the key at that distance to winning the Kentucky Derby. But we're going to talk about NBA and horses, and hopefully a little bit of baseball with those exciting Baltimore Orioles next week. And yep. Hey, man, look, even the Nationals are starting to play better ball now. This is what I'm really loving about baseball and the quicker pace. I really do think for some of these teams right now, it's showing that some teams are playing better quicker than they are with these plotting games that baseball was for a few years. But let's talk about that next week. John, take us out of here, my man.
Hey, thanks for joining us again this week. A lot of good sports this upcoming week. Check out NBA playoffs. Check out some baseball. By all means, check out the Kentucky Derby. See if Forte with that 15th lane can win the Kentucky Derby. Let's see what happens. But for all you all, thanks for coming through. We'll see you next week.